Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious Podcast. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And on today's episode of the Ambitchious Podcast, we're going to be talking about something that I am very well versed in, and that is how to step into your villain era. Yeah, that's what I said. Villain era. I am typecasted. I am painted as the villain, and I fucking love it. But before we get into today's podcast, I just want to remind y'all to go down to wherever you have your show notes, wherever you're listening to this podcast, and sign up, if you haven't already, for the free 7-day trial of the Ambitchious app. There are so many incredible nuggets on there between A28P, Ambitchious Academy, my Ambitchious audiobook, live coaching, and everything that we've ever created and will create in Ambitchious Land. It is absolutely incredible. And I want to give you out there in Ambitchious Land the opportunity to try it before you buy it, because I know that you are going to absolutely fall in love with everything that we have over on the Ambitchious app. And it's taken me 4 years of hard ass titty crushing work to create this incredible opportunity for like-minded women from all across the globe to come together and be true crusaders of the Ambitchious movement. So when you're done with this podcast, don't forget, bitch, scroll down to the show notes and sign up for your free 7-day trial of the Ambitchious app. Okay, the villain era. So some people call this main character energy, which I'm here for. But for me personally, I love the whole vibe of stepping into being the villain. And I am going to tell you why I love it so much and how you should do it so that you can truly step into all of your power and be the HBIC of your ambitious life, because that's what this podcast is all about. If you're listening to this podcast week after week and you've been here from the jump, maybe you're new. If you're new, welcome to the Ambitchious Podcast. And if you've been here since, like Mariah, we go back like babies and pacifiers, you guys know that this is all I talk about. And that's truly just stepping into your power. And stepping into your power isn't cute, and it's not glamorous, and it's not easy. Stepping into your power can be the most isolating, difficult, tumultuous times in your life, but the rewards outweigh the bullshit. Pinky swear, promise. Okay? So what does it even mean to be the villain, or to step into your villain era, or to be the main character in your life? What does it mean? So that means that you are going to be the highest, best version of yourself right fucking now. Clean the fucking potatoes out of your ears, bitch. I'm talking to you right fucking now. That is like when people say like, oh, I can't do A, B, and C until I lose the weight, or I get in shape, or I can't do this thing until I find a man, or I find the job of my dreams, or I move into the home of my dreams, or I fill in the blank. Stepping into your villain era is about being the highest, most ambitious version of yourself right now. It's accepting who you truly are. And that is really difficult for a lot of people. I don't know how you were raised, but I was raised to, fit into the societal norms, to not be too much, right? You don't want to be too much. You don't want to be too anything. You kind of just want to like fade into the background. And I'm not saying that everyone in my life that was my family of origin or my caregivers or my teachers, supported that energy. But I would say like 95% of the people that were surrounding me growing up really, would be like, you're too much. You talk too much. You're too loud. I remember my poor mother used to get calls every day from the Catholic school that I went to when I was, kindergarten to like say 4th or 5th grade. And it was like, oh, we had to move Katie's desk again to the back of the room. She's just a busybody. She just doesn't shut the fuck up. She's just too much. And even though my mother never like stamped that down in me, I think that there were times where my mother was just like, dude, can you just give a sister a break? Like, I'm trying to fucking work. I'm trying to like live my life. And every goddamn day, the nuns are calling me, telling me that like you've got yourself into, another mess. But the fact of the matter is like, I was just living my highest, most authentic, truest version of myself. Like, I love to talk to people. I am a busybody. I like to make people laugh. I'm just a natural born entertainer. And, like I always say to people, like, if I'm too much, go fucking find less. Like, I am not fucking hypnotizing you to be here to listen to me, and if people tell you that you're too much, tell them, say, go find less, motherfucker, because there's so many people out there that want you at who you are, the highest version of yourself. And don't you want to be also surrounded by those people? Do you really want to have a bunch of people around you that you have to tamp yourself down to make happy and to keep them in your sphere? Fuck that shit. So if I'm too much, go find less. That needs to be your mantra going forward in life, right? So stepping into your villain era is about accepting who you truly are and who you are authentically. So not the many masks that we all have to wear in this society that we live in, but who you truly authentically are and will be in the future. Like I always say over on the Ambitchious app, it's like, this is a place to let your freak flag fly. Like your freak flag should be flying, whapping around in the goddamn wind. You should never have to, put it at half mast ever. Okay. You should be the most authentic version of yourself all the time. And this is also realizing that you listening right now to this Ambitchious podcast, you are in total control of yourself at all times. And this is also about breaking through societal norms. A lot of women are told, that they have to be a certain way and act a certain way and show up a certain way. And none of that is fucking true. You can do and be and say whatever you want. Now, will there be societal repercussions? Abso-fucking-lutely. But again, do you want to be surrounded by and have relationships with these people who are going to tamp you down? Because I certainly do not. All the people that are in my community, whether it's the Bitchterhood on the Ambitchious app or, my husband, my closest friends, they are all total fucking weirdos. Okay? It's like, we are the weirdos, mister. Like, remember that in The Craft? That is who we truly are. And I don't want to fucking hang out with people who I cannot be my true, most authentic self around. And for me, that is just leading a half-dead life. And that does not interest me whatsoever. Entering your villain era is also about what's best for you and most beneficial to you. I know that sounds really selfish, but I pinky swear, promise that it's not. And I actually went live on my app today and I was talking about this very thing. If we are people pleasing and we are pouring from an empty cup, I'm going to challenge you, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't. And I think you know that about me. That really, when we're pouring from an empty cup and we're people pleasing, it's coming from a place of ego and it's coming from a place of not pure love. The people around you, like, for example, like if I'm having a not so fresh moment in my life, which happens all the time because I'm a human being, I'll say to my husband, like, I'm not feeling so fresh today. Like, can you pick up the slack? He would never be like, oh my God, Katie, get your fucking shit together because you need to please me and you need to show up this certain way as my wife. He's like, yeah, girl, I got you. And that's why I fucking married him. Same thing with my friends. Like, I am an introverted extrovert. So I don't actually get energy from people. I allow people to drain my energy. And it's not like, I'm not playing victim. This is just like this is just who I am. I'm an empath. I feel really deeply. So when I hang out with friends, I need sometimes like 3 or 4 days to kind of like recalibrate and bring my energy back up. So I might have made a plan with you 3 months ago to do this thing. And then the day comes and I don't feel fucking good and I don't feel fresh. And I know that this is not going to be good. I know that this is not going to be for the best. If I fucking cancel on you that day and you stop talking to me because of it, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, bitch. Okay, that just shows me that these people don't understand me. They don't respect me. They don't really get me. And I don't want to fucking be around people who don't understand me, right? Like my grandmother always used to say when I was a little girl, Katie, there's a seat for every ass, meaning like the people that are there for you that are out, they're out there. You just have to look for them. And you have to be open to find them. And maybe you have to join communities like the Ambitchious app, or come to goddess gatherings, or come to bitchapaloozas and things like that to find your people, right? There's a seat for every ass out there. So the villain era is also about not defending. I can't tell you how many people hate me, but they don't even hate true Katie Boyd. They hate the idea of me, or they hate maybe one day where I showed up and they just didn't like the way it felt. And then they go around and tell everybody, oh, Katie Boyd's a piece of shit. She's no good. She's this, she's that. And I used to have this like desperate urge to try to defend myself. Like I would literally get on my soapbox and I would plead my case like, you don't understand. I'm a good person. I'm loving. I'm kind. I maybe just had a bad day. And I know that you're out there and you're listening to this wherever you are. You're shaking your head because you too have probably had to defend yourself or felt the need to defend yourself so many times. But when you're in your villain era, you are okay with just letting everybody fucking talk shit about you because you know who you fucking truly are inside. You are the HBIC of your precious human life. And if people don't see that and they don't see your worth, toodaloo, motherfucker, like bye. It just makes my life a fuck ton easier to know that you do not belong in it, period. So being the villain is also about not having to defend yourself and defend your honor and defend who you truly are, because the people who get it, and the people who don't. And that's okay. And that is okay. Stepping into your villain era is also about saying no. And remember, no is a complete sentence. Go back and listen to the old school podcast. No is a complete sentence. And also to pontificate on that idea is that it's either hell yes or hell no. There's nothing in my life that I'm like, maybe. It's either like, fuck yes, this is happening. Put on my rubber undies. Let's go for it. Or it's like, no, I would rather, eat a fucking pack of hot dogs the long way with like no water to wash it down. Do you know what I'm saying? So saying no is about stepping into your villain era. And I know that sounds like so small. It's like, really, Katie, saying no? This is like you're the villain? Well, how many times do you say fucking yes, bitch, when you really want to say no? Ask yourself that question right now, and then you'll really, truly understand. The next way that we can step into our villain era, and that's part of being the villain, is really setting clear-cut, concise boundaries, which is so difficult for so many people, especially for women. Men are just like my husband could just be like, no, I'm not doing that. And like, no one fucks with him. No one says shit to him. No one talks shit to him. But I can say the exact same thing. And it's like, I get so much like repercussion back. Why? Why? Because women we're supposed to be pushovers. We're supposed to, be people pleasers. We're supposed to just let you bend us over a fucking barrel and have your way with us. No fucking more, because we are stepping into our villain era. And that means no more people pleasing. That means pleasing yourself first. What a fucking crazy concept, right? Could you imagine if every day we asked ourselves, what do I want to do the most today? What is going to make me feel full? What is going to make me feel inspired and motivated and elevated and ascended and evolved and joyful and all the other core desired feelings in the world that we desire to feel, right? So that means stopping the fucking people pleasing. And like I said before, prioritizing yourself as your number one main character in the story, right? You're not the side character. You're not fucking Robin. You're motherfucking Batman. Okay? Or Catwoman or whatever you're fucking into. Okay? And you have to ask yourself when you're in your villain era, what is going to help me get closer to my dreams? What is going to help me get closer to my goals and my aspirations? And stop thinking about everyone else's goals, dreams, and aspirations. Because if you're living in your truth and you're being ambitious and you're being the HBIC of your life, and you are charging towards your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations, then everyone else around you will also be killing it, because you are going to rub off energetically around them. And then it's also about showing up as the most alive self you can be. Asking yourself, would the main character in my story eat this way, drink this way, show up this way, do these things? And half the things that you do in your daily life, I promise you'll say no. When you have that craving and you're about to go deep throat a whole entire pint of Chubby Hubby from Ben and Jerry's because you're kind of PMSy. And you'd say to yourself, now, if I was the main character in my story, if I was really in my villain era, would I be gonna deep throat this whole entire ice cream and just abuse my body? It's one thing to have a couple scoops, but when you just mindlessly do stuff, whether it's, drugs or alcohol, or not prioritizing your sleep, or spending your time with a bunch of shit bags, or, keeping your house dirty, or wearing fucking rags out in public. I can't tell you how many women that I coach that have these perfectly dressed children and they look like fucking ragamuffins. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bitch? You used to be a hot piece of ass. Now you look like you live in a van down by the river. And I know people are going to say to me, well, Katie, you don't have kids. It's hard. Bitch, just get up 20 minutes earlier and take a fucking Portuguese shower, sprinkle some water where it is most important, and slap some fucking bronzer on your face and put on a nice lip. It's not that hard. Prioritize yourself. Show up as your most best alive version of you. And I promise you are going to attract the most incredible things into your life. And the next thing is, stop fucking watering yourself down. Stop playing so small and keeping yourself so small. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Especially for you women out there that have children, especially daughters. You have to be the inspiration and the role model for these young women so that we don't raise a whole new generation of women who are going to be people pleasers and playing small and watering themselves down and burning themselves out and lighting themselves on fire to fucking keep everyone else warm. It's not the vibe. It's not helping anyone. It really, truly isn't. And if you're triggered by this conversation, it's probably because everything I just said, you're fucking doing. So check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. Don't come for me, bitch. I'm just speaking truth. Okay? I'm doing God's work here. So how do we truly step into our villain era? How do we become the main characters of our lives? Well, the first thing that I want you to understand is no one's fucking better than you. I know that's a really hard thing to wrap your cute little brain around, but no one is better than you. The only reason that you think that they're better than you is because they're the other people are not downplaying themselves. They're not keeping themselves small. They're being their most authentic selves. They're prioritizing themselves, right? They are being in the now. They're not waiting for permission to be the main character or the villain or the most ambitious self that they can be. And that's what bothers you. So understand first that no one's better than you. There is no lucky girl syndrome. There is no not enoughness syndrome. You know, remember, people that have less than you, and I mean like looks, talent, energy, etc., are doing more than you just because they're sick motherfuckers and they don't give a fuck about making anyone else happy except themselves. You know, a lot of people that have a lot of less talent, have a lot of less gifts, have a lot of less everything, are doing more than you because they don't give a shit. Because they're just like, I have this one precious human life and I have to do something with it, or I'm literally slapping God and the universe and my creator in the face if I don't suck the absolute marrow out of this one revolution in this little meat puppet on this 3-dimensional earth. You know, they're like, fuck it, you can't cancel me. You know, you cannot cancel me under any circumstances. They just don't give a fuck. So understand that. Most of the people who are living in their villain era and are the main characters of their own lives, they just don't give a fuck. They're just crazy, fucking out there, vigilantes, they're rogue, you know? And I want to be a fringe dweller. That is always like my goal in life, is to be on the fringe of society, to think outside the box, to say crazy shit, to fucking shake this 3-dimensional gray, boring ass world up. Because life is not supposed to be a struggle, and life was made to be enjoyed. Enjoyed. To be in joy. You know, God didn't put like half of us down here and said, okay, these are all the lucky bitches and these are all the sad bitches. No, God put us all here to be bad bitches, to be ambitious. And that's really why I was put on this earth, is to take women from sad bitches to bad bitches. I give you the tools, but you got to use the tools. I'm not your fucking babysitter. I'm not going to like, okay, let's take the tool and let's use this hammer. No, bitch, you got to go into your toolbox and you got to figure that out on your own. The next thing that women do that are in their villain era and that are really in their main character energy is they prioritize self-care. They prioritize self-love. They prioritize self-maintenance, right? They eat high vibrational food. They connect to their divine spirituality. They dress up. Right? They don't look for a special occasion to put on the makeup and do the hair and to put on the cute clothes. They do it for themselves, which raises their vibrational frequency, which in turn, when your vibrational frequency is high, you're going to attract like, because like attracts like. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of shitbags and know-nothings and do-nothings and naysayers and fuckfaces, it's probably because you're a fucking do-nothing naysayer fuckface and you are just in that shit pit of low vibrational frequency energy because you're not fucking prioritizing yourself, right? They star in their own show. They have patience. They have grace. They have gratitude, right? They're always keeping their vibration high. Their home is a showplace. Their environment is a showplace. They maintain their energetic vibrational frequency of their soul and their higher selves. They exercise their body every day. They don't contaminate their mind by watching the news and by listening to gossip. Everything that they do is intentional, right? And I always say, if you're having a hard time with prioritizing self-love, this is what I do, because I have had a really hard time in my life prioritizing self-love and self-care and all these things. Get a picture of yourself as a little girl. And if this doesn't feel right, get a picture of your child, your daughter or your niece, someone, a little female that you love unconditionally. And then try to speak the ill shit that you say to yourself to that little girl's picture. It's almost incomprehensible to do. And that's what we have to understand, is like, we are all just those little girls grown up, and we crave love and we crave acceptance and we actually thrive in high vibrational frequency environments and energies, right? And that is so important. So get a little picture of yourself when you were a little girl or somebody that you love, like your daughter or a niece or a granddaughter, and put that picture right by your bed. And every morning wake up and say, okay, I'm doing this for her. I'm doing this to make her proud and to love her and to love her like I wanted to be loved when I was a little girl and to be cared for and nurtured like I wanted to when I was a little girl. Or if you're looking at your own picture and you didn't get the love that you desired, give it to her now and just realize you're still that little girl, but you're just big. I do this work with my girls all of the time and it's so life-changing. It's so life-changing. The next thing to be the villain and to really step into your main character energy is get rid of all of the things that drain you and that open you up to energy vampirism, right? That's anger, that's holding grudges, that's resentment, right? Like Buddha says, like holding on to resentment is like you taking poison, hoping that your enemy will die. It's only hurting you. It's not hurting anyone else. If you guys knew the sick, fucking twisted shit that's been done to me in my life and how I literally hold no ill will and I hold no grudges to anyone because I realize that all these people I chose to come into my life to help evolve my soul on this earth plane because my soul needed certain lessons so that it can go to the next level. And when you really just accept that and you accept that radical responsibility and you step into that radical power, there is nothing but ambitious in your horizon, in your future. That's just the damn truth. So get rid of anything or anyone that drains you. This could be, eating certain foods, doing certain drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol, not surrounding yourself with like-minded people, working at a job that would literally replace you if you fucking croaked within 24 hours. They'd probably just send like your, husband or your significant other just like a fucking edible arrangement. Not even the ones that are dipped in chocolate, like the cheap ones that like don't taste good. You know what I'm talking about? So get rid of all the things in your life that are just draining the fucking piss out of you. The next thing is stop chasing, attract. Stop chasing, attract. Villains don't beg. Main character energy women don't beg. We don't change ourselves to make other people happy. We don't obsess over things. We understand that we're not for everyone, okay? And you have to ask yourself if you are in an energy of support, of mutual respect, of reciprocation, or are you in an energy in your relationships that you've attracted of compromise, of always having to water yourself down, of always having to just like keep your mouth shut and not use your voice and not stand in your power and not be all the things, right? And I think that people think like that you have to work hard to attract the things that you desire and you have to grind and hustle to have the life that you desire and that you dream of and that your goals are and all that. And that's not fucking true. All you have to be is to be a vibrational match to the things and the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you want. So if you're in a relationship with some piece of shit that just abuses you and calls you fat and you're not enough and whatever, it's because you, at the moment of attracting this person into your life, were being that same piece of shit. Okay? So you really have to take a step back and look at all of the things in your periphery and see how you're fucking showing up, because I can't hammer this home enough. It's about radical responsibility. Radical responsibility. And if your goals, dreams, and aspirations are taking longer, and it happens in my own life too, I always go back to this old idea that I'm going to share with you. And this is what I think about all the time. There are only 3 answers to your prayers. There's only 3. And here are the 3 answers to your prayers, which can also be your desires, your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations. So anything that you want in your life, there's always 3 answers to those things, 3 answers to those prayers. And the 3 answers are always 1, yes. Number 2, not yet. And number 3, I have something else in mind that's better. Your prayers are never answered in a no. Your prayers are always answered in yes, not yet, and I have something else better in mind. The God that I believe in does not say no to your prayers. The God that I believe in says yes, not yet, or I have something else in mind that's better. That's on period, okay? So stop chasing and start attracting what you desire by being a vibrational match. So ask yourself, the person that I desire to have a relationship with, who is it? How do they act? How do they show up? And then you show up. I actually did a live pop-up coaching on my Ambitchious app last week. And I was like really getting kind of nasty with the girls over there. And I was like, would you fuck you? Would you date you? And of course, a lot of the girls were like, absolutely, I'm a queen, which I 100% respect and I love. And I cheer that on. But a lot of the women were like, no, I actually wouldn't. And like, it's like, you want a 10, but you're acting like a 6. I'm not talking about looks. I mean, yeah, looks are important. The way that your body is important. The health of your body, the way that you show up in a 3-dimensional physical realm is important. But I'm also talking about deeper shit. I'm talking about energy. You desire a 10 from a significant other, but you're acting like a fucking 6. You want a 10, but you're showing up like a 6 or a 4 or a 7. If you want a 10, you got to fucking be a 10. And that takes work. And that takes sacrifice. And that actually takes like honing in and being that person and not getting distracted by the bullshit, because getting distracted is so easy in this day and age. We're living in a world of distractions, right? So asking yourself, would someone else show up the way that I'm showing up? Right? If you want a 10, you got to show up like a 10. And you have to ask yourself, am I being the 10 that I desire? And if you're not, then fucking stop, collaborate, and listen, and mid-course correct. You always have a chance to do that. No one's holding a gun to your head telling you that you, just because you've been a mediocre meh for the last 30 years means that you have to keep being that mediocre motherfucker. No one's holding a gun to your head. You can change your fucking life and reinvent yourself at any moment. And if you need help, that's when you come over to the Ambitchious community and be part of the Bitchterhood and learn all the tools that you need to go to that next level. The next way to be the villain and be in that main character energy is romanticize your life. I did a podcast about romanticizing your life not too long ago. Go back and listen to that podcast. Again, if you already have. If you haven't, go back and listen to it now, because it's very important. Your life is precious, and your life is what you make of it. No one is coming to motherfucking save you. No one is at home going, oh God, I hope that Katie's life is romantic. No one gives a fuck about me. I know people love me and they care about me, but like no one really cares that much, because everyone's very self-centered, which is a good thing sometimes. Because remember, I've been preaching to you this whole podcast about putting yourself number one. So treat yourself, right? Stop waiting for the special occasion to wear the beautiful dress. Stop waiting for dinner with your husband to put on some makeup and to do your hair and to put some fucking deodorant on, and wash your chocha with some Palmolive dish soap or whatever the fuck you sickos are into. Go drink out of the beautiful teacup. Drink the champagne, right? Go on the vacations. Do the things now, because you don't know if you have time down the road. I have so many people that say to me, oh, I'm going to take that vacation when my kid turns 18. I'm like, okay, how old is your child? 4. I'm like, are you fucking okay? You have shit for brains? Are you fucking soft in the head? Do the shit now, because you don't know. Tomorrow is not reality. Tomorrow is not promised to you. And allow yourself to be inspired by your own life. Your own life. Okay? And the next thing to be the main character is to be the only character. Be discerning. Obviously consider your loved ones at all times, but you don't have to light yourself on fire to keep them warm. Keeping themselves warm is their responsibility. It's not your priority. And you use teamwork, right? And you will fulfill your obligations. And you will have to compromise sometimes. But being who you truly desire to be and showing up as that woman at all times. And the next thing is to be the villain and to really be the main character is like, you got to be okay. You got to be okay with being the villain. You have to be okay with that. And that's really hard for people because I don't know about you, but I come from a long line of female people pleasers. And I know so many of you out there in Ambitchious land do too. And you have to be okay with people besmirching you and lying about you and fucking telling tales on you that aren't true and spreading rumors about you and gossiping. You have to be okay with that because guess what? I don't give a motherfucking fuck if you are Mother Teresa and you are saving the children, you are saving the lepers, and you're not doing one goddamn thing for yourself. People are still gonna talk shit about you. They're still gonna fucking lie on you. They're still gonna fucking besmirch you. So be who the fuck you want to be no matter what, because people are always gonna have a fucking opinion. Opinions are like booty holes. Everyone's got them and they're not afraid to use them. Some more than others. Okay? So set the fucking boundaries. Give up the external validation and approval from others. Get rid of all of your non-reciprocal, non-symbiotic relationships. Indulge in your hobbies, indulge in your interests, indulge in just slow living. And stop waiting. Stop waiting for other people to do what you want to do. I have so many girls that say to me, like, oh, I just wish that I could go have like a nice meal, but like my husband works all the time and like he's just too tired to go out. I'm like, take yourself out, bitch. Go get your fucking best outfit on. Dress up, do your hair, do your makeup, look like a motherfucking dime piece, and go sit all by yourself at a restaurant and drink the champagne or have the cocktail and order the food and whatever, and take yourself on a goddamn date. Take yourself on a solo trip. Stop waiting for your fucking cockamamie friends to be like, okay, I'll go on a trip with you finally. It's like, no. Or like, I don't have the money to go on a trip. So like they're broke ass hoes and like you aren't. So like, why are you going to wait for the broke ass hoes? Take yourself on a solo trip. Buy the nice things. Eat the good food. Drink the champagne. Sleep in the fucking high thread count sheets. Do the little things. And last but not least, just fucking be okay and accept that you are always going to be the villain and the bad guy in someone else's story. Like Scarface said, say hello to the bad guy. Because no matter what, you're always going to be a villain in someone else's story. I can't tell you how many people that I've helped, that I've literally like dragged myself through broken glass to make happy, and it still wasn't enough for them. How about you fucking do that for yourself? Because that's what being ambitious is all about. I hope that this podcast inspired you to step into your villain era and to be the main character of your most ambitious life. Because let me tell you something, honey, no one's coming to save you. You got to fucking save yourself. And you got to step into your power now, because tomorrow is not a reality. Tomorrow is not promised to you. It would mean the world to me if you share this with as many ambitious women in your life as possible, simply by clicking the link and sharing it out. Email it to your friends, text message them. Don't forget, if you are on Instagram, tag me on Instagram when you share this podcast. I work really hard every week to create these podcasts and get them out to all of you in Ambitchious land. And I don't get paid to do this. All I ask is for you just to share the love and share the knowledge so that we can truly make Ambitchious a movement that is going to change the reality of Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants. In the meantime, don't forget to stay ambitious, and I will see you next Tuesday.